Hello, so my name's Harvey Cox. I'm here today to talk to you about what element of my coaching I'm looking to improve. So the main element of my coaching that I'm looking to improve is my communication. I believe that communication when coaching is vital and that you need to have great bonds with your players when you run a team like I do myself. I find it very easy to spot when coaches don't have the best level of communications with their players because sessions just don't run smoothly, or the players aren't getting the tactics or the drills first time, second time, or even third time. And it's not always the player's fault if this does happen. If the drills or tactics aren't being graphed straight away, sometimes it's just the way the coach is getting these drills across and they're not communicating correctly. So in my presentation I'll be using literature and some of my own knowledge and experience to tell you why I believe communication is so important when coaching and why that's what I want to improve. Okay, so what are the benefits of good communication? Having good communication with your participants allows you to be very organised when running a team, and depending on what level of team you are coaching, if it's a low level Sunday league team, you're going to need very basic levels of communication. So you're going to need communication to tell players what time the sessions are, how long the sessions will be for, what time matches are and where they'll be, and explain basic skills and tactics. It's not until you move up to a higher standard of sport that the coaches are going to need to have a greater bond with their players, therefore needing to communicate with them much more regular basis. So how do you and your athlete communicate determines on how much success you gain when you attempt to correct errors. This is something that I really want to work on in my coaching, because I believe that I don't really speak to my participants enough after a session and find out what's gone wrong and what I need to improve. So that leads me on to building relationships with your participants. Communication when coaching is not just about telling players what to do, where to go, or how to do it. It's actually about building up a relationship and a bond with a player, so you can try and find out what they need specifically within the group, rather than just teaching or coaching a group all in the same way. Effective coaching is not just about developing skills and improving performance, it's about building good relationships. Because of the amount of time a coach spends with their participants, it is really important they do create this bond with the player, and it's not just the player turning up, completing the drills, going home, because then the coach isn't going to learn what's going right and wrong, and the player isn't going to learn what's going right and wrong either, and if they're improving. So communication is a two-way process, where listening is equally more important, if not more important, than talking. I've found personally that many coaches are great at talking, they're great at getting their point across, they can set drills up easily, but they forget that actually they need to listen to their participants too. Their participants hold great information about what the coaches need to do in the future that's going to benefit the team in a great way. Also, there's going to be issues that players are going to come in maybe one day and they're not very motivated, or there's something going on off the sports field. So a good coach will then need to recognise that that's happening, and depending on the player's personality, maybe pull them to the side after and have a word and try and work out these problems. Even if they are off the sports field, they can still be dealt with by the coach, and then try and get that player back to the peak of their ability. Coaches that are working with younger participants like myself, so I coach children between the age of 6 and 14 in football, they're going to need to build a much higher bond with parents and guardians. This is important because with younger children you may not even get the truth when asking for how well sessions go on and what they like, because they don't want to tell the adult that they're wrong. So building up these relationships with the parents will give you a great idea of what the child is enjoying, because they're going to go home and speak about this with their parents or guardians, so you're going to get a totally honest answer of what's going well. Also, with the parents and guardians, some of them may be more enthusiastic than others. So maybe if you start talking to these parents at the end or at the start of every session, they might want to get involved a little bit more or see if there's any other ways that they can help out. Back to like professional coaching, you'll often find that professional football managers, they will often hold meetings with their captains and have strong bonds with their captains in order to use them to try and find out what needs to be improved in the session. So that needs great communication. So, what am I going to improve within my coaching? Within my coaching, I feel like I need to improve my communication with parents and guardians. I'll deliver a session, guess that the kids will like it, they will leave, and I will not know anything different, whether it's gone well, bad, or anything like that. So I feel like I need to dedicate 5 minutes at the start of my lesson, 5 minutes at the end, to try and just speak to the parents as much as I can, to try and find out what these kids like and what they don't like. I also don't feel as if I use as many hand gestures or my body language isn't always the best when I'm coaching. This is something I definitely want to improve on as I am coaching young children, and it is a huge, huge part of coaching young children that they need to understand what you're talking about and they want to be involved. And by using hand gestures and giving praise often is going to keep them very motivated. And that's exactly what you need. So research shows that when people are communicating, that the words on their own actually contribute only 7%. This is quite interesting because many people would think that the words is actually what you need to be taking note of. But actually, it's the paralanguage, which is how you say the words, that contributes 38%. And finally, it's the non-verbal communication, 55%, hand gestures, thumbs up, well done, that is going to contribute the most at 55%. Because I'm working with younger children, I think this is the most important thing that I need to work on. My hand gestures and my body language, just to keep them motivated, because I don't want to get the children unmotivated, because then they're going to struggle to compete in the session and it could even bring other students down. So, slide 5. Hearing from the participants. This is a main thing I feel like I definitely need to improve, and that's just sitting down with the kids after a session and trying to just find out what they think could have gone better. Because of the age of the participants, this could become an issue, as sometimes, like I said, they're not going to tell you the truth, or they're going to struggle to understand what the drills have been, or what if they like them, or if they don't like them. So I thought of a little idea that I can do. I could bring just smiley face sheets to the session. So they're going to have a smiley face, an okay face, and a sad face. And all they have to do is just tick them. It's as simple as that, especially for the younger children. It can be very simple. Tick one of those, and then I'll look back at what I've done that session. I'll then be able to see the majority of the faces, or who's put a sad face, who's put a smiley face. And then maybe in the future I can cater my lessons around those children that didn't enjoy that session as much. And I could try and change it for them. The coach needs to seek continual improvement in a range of skills, such as planning, listening, tactics, performance delivery, communication, provision feedback, and interaction with their performers. That's from Robinson. Because these are So here's a coach with an example of great communication. Sam Allardyce. Sam Allardyce is a professional football manager, and he is one of the best football coaches in communicating. He is known for his man management skills, and many would say that is his #1 quality over maybe the tactics or the way he delivers sessions. In professional football, sometimes man managing the players can be just as important, if not more important, than the way you set up the drills and tactics. Sam has a very well-known philosophy that isn't always liked, but the way he deals with each player and understands what each individual player needs is adored by them players, and then therefore he gets a great reaction from them on the pitch. I think this shows us the importance of communication in coaching. Sam's gone to many football clubs and done very well over his time, purely just because he knows exactly what his player wants and needs. Sam has actually got the England job recently from this #1 quality, and his philosophy, alongside his great ability to communicate, has actually got him the England job. Here is my bibliography of what I've used for this presentation. Thank you.